How is it that UK ended up like this? How is it that free speech is basically illegal in UK? Guys, welcome to the channel. And I went deeper into all of this, just wondering how is it that things can possibly get this bad? Is it all of a sudden? Is it like little drops, that slowly build up? What is it? Well, that's what we'll explore here today. I was watching a video that I recommend you see. This is from Mr. Bean, of all people, who had some very interesting things to say about how his country became the thing he joked about not that long ago, about the different type of crimes that one of his characters mentioned that could be committed, and how some people are being arrested by...
So my concerns are less for myself and more for those more vulnerable because of their lower profile. Like the man arrested in Oxford for calling a police force gay. Or the teenager arrested for calling the Church of Scientology a cult. Or the cafe owner arrested for...
If you call a horse gay in UK, you get arrested. It sounds stupid, sounds like a joke, and full disclosure, Mr. Bean here, he's joking, but he goes on. It's like 9 minutes and worth listening to, but he's actually participating in this Reform Section 5.org.uk initiative. So he is actively not just joking, but he's doing an effort to change some of these things. And wait a minute, because you'll see how bad things actually are.
Displaying passages from the Bible on a TV screen. When I heard of some of these more ludicrous offences and charges, I remembered that I had been here before in a fictional context. I once did a show called Not the 9 O'Clock News some years ago, and we did a sketch where Griff Rhys-Jones played Constable Savage, a manifestly racist police officer to whom I, as his station commander, is giving a dressing down for arresting a black man on a whole string of ridiculous, trumped up and ludicrous charges. The charges for which Constable Savage arrested Mr. Winston Kadogo of 55 Mercer Road were these: walking on the cracks in the pavement, walking in a loud shirt in a built-up area during the hours of darkness, and one of my favourites, walking around all over the place. He was also arrested for urinating in a public convenience and looking at me in a funny way. Who would have thought that we would end up with a law that would allow life to imitate art so exactly? I read somewhere a defender of the status quo claiming that the fact that the gay horse case was dropped after the arrested man refused to pay the fine.
So he goes on, he explains that, and he basically makes a case for, yes, it's funny that someone gets arrested for calling a police officer's horse gay. It's not funny, it's very concerning. It's very concerning that your horse is gay and you get arrested. That means you have no freedom left. And again, watch the video, look it up with that title, it will pop up. It's good stuff. Reform Section 5. What is Section 5? Well, we can go check that out right away. And you see that Section 5 is lunacy. Section 5, it didn't start now. This isn't anything new. It has been around for a long time. It's from 1986. And it basically says that you can get arrested for whatever. A person is guilty of an offense if he, she, missing a few pronouns there, UK, uses threatening or abusive words or behavior or disorderly behavior. So threatening, okay, so you're not allowed to go threaten, I'm going to kill you, stuff like that. Words, abusive words, disorderly. What is exactly disorderly? Displaying and writing sign or other visible representation which is threatening, okay, within the hearing of sight of a person likely, okay, so that is loose enough for different number of interpretations in which they are more than happy to use to limit your free speech, right? Anything that is, if it's not specifically a threat against a specific person, but if it's insulting, remove the word insulting. If every to pass a reaction of the Senate in which removing the word insulting following pressure from the citizens, right? So you insult someone and you're arrested. Are we all crazy? Well, this is bad enough as it is. But what he does not know is that this is just not enough, because there's other things going on, such as what this bitch right here used to arrest an old man.
Okay, so
What do you mean I can't have any?
And by the way, in a world where canceling, shaming, and just fucking kicking out of the civilized world seems to be a thing, let's actually use that with people that deserve it. Because there are people that deserve to no longer be included in society, such as this pile of scum disguised as a woman with a police officer uniform. She is the worst of the worst. Just look at her face as she arrests a man for Facebook crimes.
Alcohol.
okay, well I'll tell you. Okay, the time's 20 to 3, 14:40. I'm arresting you on suspicion of improper use of the Electronic Communications Network. I'm just
What?
127 of the Communications Act, okay? So you do not have to say anything that may harm your defence if you don't mention when questioned, something which later on in court. Anything you do say may be given evidence. Do you...
What a scumbag. What a piece of human filth this woman is. Just like heroes not all wear capes, well, criminals and the worst of the worst don't all end up in the front page. This kind of behavior, I think it's the worst that being that kind of traitor, of backstabber to civilized society, to humanity. This is a crime against humanity, this woman here. Someone that gladly just, I see an old man and he posted something. I don't care. Okay. Communications Act 127. Let's check that out. Well, that is very interesting. Communication Act. This is from 2003. 127 Communications Act. And this is basically anything. False Communication Act. Cases, specialized. And then we go down. And this has been amended a number of times to include basically anything. Grossly offensive. So they removed from this pile of garbage, they remove the insults, but you have it over here. So anything that is an offender sends or causes to be sent via public communication network, communication that is grossly offensive or of an indecent, obscene, or menacing character. What the fuck is all of that? What is menacing character, offensive, indecent? What are all of these things? I mean, someone that is vegan may find a hamburger offensive and gross and indecent. All of those things for the purpose of causing annoyance. So if you're just annoying someone, this is insane. 127 CA 2003 Act says that for the purpose of causing annoyance, inconvenience, or anxiety to another, send or cause to be sent communication that offends known to be false or persistently makes use of a public electronic. This is anything at all. Anything at all that you say at any time can fall into this. Someone may have been offended by what you just said or commented or retweeted. This is the death of any sort of freedom. Anything at all. It's not just about, someone that is actively harassing. No. You just offended someone. Maybe someone could have been offended. The suspicion of you possibly offending someone with this insanity, an offense of encouraging or assisting serious self-harm, 2023. Threatening communications of offense, a false communication. So you say something is false, and they throw it in there with a bunch of things. Sending photographs or films of gender. Yeah, okay. You send what? To who? What exactly? In what context is it? A guy sends his girlfriend a D-pic and you end up in this thing? You get arrested for it? There's no context to any of this? There's not. It's all into what this pile of human garbage decides is worthy of you being arrested or not. As I said before, this country is completely gone. I'm all for Mr. Bean. I actually like some of what is it that he does, the comedy where he's like 007. It is stupid, but it is funny. Some are funnier than others, but kudos on him for just even talking about this and exposing him, knowing that he's a public figure, and he says this himself. Being a public figure, he's not going to get arrested for joking about these things. But the guy that got arrested over the gay horse, if it hadn't made to the mainstream media and everyone was What? We're arresting people for calling a horse gay? Are we crazy? That guy, after being arrested, it ended up in a dragged through glass, and then he was asked to pay a fine. He did not. So after all of that, no, that shouldn't have even been a thing to begin with. That shouldn't have happened at all. But Section 5, 127 Communications Act, all of these things speak of a society that has long ago giving up the idea of any kind of freedom. It's not just this, guys. It's those things as well. Those things that you can have. It's the ability of having pepper spray, which is, if it's the typical element that women use to protect themselves from thugs and disgusting people on the streets that harass her, pepper spray. It is completely harmless and allows someone with less physical strength to have at least somewhat of a chance to, and that is specifically banned. Why? Because you're living specifically in a country where you're not supposed to have any rights. You're supposed to be a peasant of those in power. That monarchy culture idea of you not having any right to defend yourself in any shape or form, you not being able to carry one of those things, a knife. But yeah, there's laws in different countries. Yeah, there's maybe limits on the blade length, right? Can you go around, threatening people with a machete? No, probably, yes. That's probably illegal everywhere. Can you have a 6-inch knife? Well, it will depend. Can you have a 3-inch knife? Can you have a folder? Yes. Fucking yes. In most of the civilized world, that is not a complete shithole. You have the right to have a pocket knife that locks, or even a small knife for a number of possible uses, right? Can you go around with a weapon? Usually it's going to be some kind of limit to what you can or can't carry. Maybe you need a license. Maybe it's about blade length. Maybe it's about a number of things. But the idea of all of these things combined in the same country, with the same culture, with the same ideology of, no, we're not even giving guns to police officers so that they cannot even protect people when attacked on the streets. We leave that to the gangs of Asians to patrol and keep the streets safe. Yeah, let's trust those guys. Those guys are the ones that are going to be policing and taking care of your women, your children, or maybe, selling them for pleasure of other Asian gentlemen, and so on. But you have to adapt to the new culture. That's the way it's supposed to be. We have the new Prime Minister, Lord Spungum Barber, whatever the fuck his name is. I couldn't get out of there. Find yourself a decent country to live in. Find yourself a decent place to live in, because that is not it anymore. It probably hasn't been in a long time. It has just reached critical decay at this point, and it's not worth it. Life is too damn short for this shit. See you next time. Take care.